What's up, YouTube? I want to talk a little bit about surviving and thriving. For those of you that know me, and I think all of us in this human existence called life, we go through a season of surviving. We go through a season of thriving, hopefully, or at least trying to thrive. And the thing is that there are different skill sets for each, different buckets and tools that we use for each. There's a bucket that we use to pick from when we're surviving. Okay. For example, if you're going through homelessness, if you're going through abuse, there's a different bucket that you pick from. But when you cross that barrier from surviving and you're on that bridge on your way to thriving, you can't continue to pick from that same bucket, right? And crossing that barrier doesn't necessarily have to be physically. You may still be in that situation, but your mindset says, nope, can't go there anymore. And when you change that mindset, you have to also realize that you have to change that tool set. So you can't choose that same tool set that you use to survive for you to thrive. And I'm going to say this many years ago when I was going through that situation, um, I have so much innocence, had so much innocence, okay? Like 180% innocence as far as, the way the world operates, what I thought my stance was in the world, this, that, and the other. Now I'm down to probably like 80%. Okay. I know how things work a little bit now. And I remember when I was going through that, there was a counselor at this place, and he looked at me, and I was just so pure and so good. And he says to me, Maria, you can't keep picking from the same bucket and get new results. So, yeah, you're doing all this honesty, all this goodness, but you can't get the same results. And you're completely oblivious as to what's going on in the world. Now, this is me at probably like 35, right? Now, me at 15 years old, I remember working somewhere, and I tell this story a lot. There was a young man that worked with me. We were from the same project, his very first job. And I remember I was dealing with a customer out in the lobby area, and it was just me and him there that day. And all of a sudden, you could feel everything stand still. The guy stopped what he was doing and just looked at me with his mouth dropped open and his eyes big. And he didn't say this to anyone in particular because it was only me and him there. But he said, she's not going to make it. She's too nice, right? And I guess he had a conversation with one of his boys. If y'all grew up in the hood, y'all know. He had a conversation with one of his boys, and one of his boys, when I graduated from high school, took me to somewhere to eat. And they used to call me Chipmunk or whatever because my cheeks were so fat. And he said, Maria, you can't be nice and honest. They said you can be nice and you can be dishonest and nice. Or you can be honest and mean, but you can't be nice and honest and get, fare well in life. I've always been nice and honest. After some of the things I've been through and some learning experiences, I've learned to be a little less nice, and I learned about boundaries. Am I still learning? Yeah. But again, we can't pick from the same bucket that we use to survive when we're going to thrive. We have to change when our mindset changes. Again, whether we make that decision to physically cross that bridge or to mentally cross that bridge, the tools that we use have to be different. You know, one of the really cliche sayings that they used to say all the time over and over is that you can't get different results if you keep doing the same things. Sometimes we have to choose different tools. The world has changed, so we have to choose different tools. Whereas I was always open and receiving and welcoming to everyone, you can't always do that now. You have to, boundaries, I think, for me, are so important. You know, mental health is a big thing, and I tell you, you need to have boundaries, respect for yourself, and boundaries of what you will and will not allow to be done. As long as it's under your power. And I was scared to title the last video where I talked about urea because you guys know I have a few different causes in life. One is victims of the criminal justice system. In that last video that I entitled Urea, that should have been part of the description. And when I think of anything that I talk about personally, as far as blog wise, they all fit into one of those categories that I support so much. So again, you guys, if you get a chance, Cash App, not no, it's not Cash App. That's a lie. PayPal. And that link is in a couple of the videos that I did. If you see all the colors and stuff, my birthday's coming up, so definitely I'm on the quest of self love, those causes are things that have been innate to me even before I've had a chance to understand that those will be part of my life or are part of my life. But this particular one where I'm talking about um, picking from a different bucket and striving and thriving, and the difference, and the tools that we use. So I guess for this particular subject, um, I guess this would be mental health awareness. You know, how to cross over that bridge from striving to thriving. And maybe I'll start doing that, honestly, naming my videos after those causes that I'm looking at, because it's important. So again, we need to pick from a different bucket for surviving and thriving. When we're just on survival mode, there's a different set of tools that we would pick from because we're surviving. When we're in thriving mode, we have to throttle past that. But anyways, I love you guys. Have a great night. I'll probably be back as random things hit me. I love you guys.